Hi, welcome to another video here by Bruce here, the Tokyo Real Estate Man. And I was thinking this could be a really useful video for people who have made a big change in their life and moved to another part of the world and they need to learn another language. My particular, like I'm a very good Japanese speaker, or I think I am, but like sometimes I'm still not convinced I am, but there's basically nothing that I can't really do in the Japanese language. So any issue I have in Japan, I can deal with. And recently, my daughter and my son have moved here, and I've had to almost triage my daughter because she could speak. I taught her how to speak from a young age, but when I in Japan, when I tried to teach her how to read and everything like that, she was always like rejecting it. And then I'm not really pushy person, so I was like, well, no, now is not the time. And since she's been here, I've brought her from like a zero level. She's in grade 5 right now, probably to grade 3 or grade 4 level of English. Maybe even she's even in grade 5 in a lot of ways because she's just following what's happening in the class right now. So I wanted to teach her the what I'm going to call the triage method of learning to read. Okay. Uh, so when you're learning kanji, these are a little bit more complicated than the beginner kanji. Okay, beginner kanji is even. These are all pretty easy, normal ones here. This is higashi or kita or hoku or to, and then that's Tokyo, and that's Kyoto. Okay, Kyo is means capital, and you see it being repeated here. And then I wrote here east, north, Tokyo, and Kyoto. So what you have to do in the triage method, okay, is you just have to teach image. Okay, it's important that people get reading as quickly as possible. Well, now when I was young, we learned phonics, right? So when I was learning the word east, our teacher was breaking down the words, okay? So we logically knew that E and A was the high sound of an E together and then grouped with the ST. However, what happens over time, you only use like phonics during the initial stages of when you're learning. You don't know this. I didn't know this when I was a kid either, that I really wasn't using phonics, except for when new words would be like imported into my vocabulary, and then I would have to sound them out sometimes, like, and that would still work its way into high school. Okay, but at a certain point I would have stopped reading east because I knew it in its full image. So uh, you have to teach your, like you've been my daughter who's in grade 5 now, she needs to learn how to read to understand what was happening around here. Do not teach phonics at first, teach image, okay, because you need to get them reading whole sentences. They can't just, there's no time to break apart to teach the phonics. I think the phonics you can fill in the gaps later, which I did when I learned Japanese. So I guess every learner is going to be different, but this is a really effective way. Like when I learned when I learned this kanji higashi, okay, and I living in central Tokyo, right, it it became immediately useful to me because I would walk into a station, okay, and there was always like a direction, which would be the east exit. You'd have Gucci here, which is, I'll just write it here. You'll laugh at this one, but like there's Gucci, which is the east east exit of the station, right? Or you can even put Gucci here down into like the sorry, my Kakujin Shotowari, my order in which I do the stroke because it's backwards is weird right now. But yeah, you can. What happens when you learn a kanji like this? Okay, it becomes immediately useful. Okay, in your reading everywhere you go. If you're walking around Tokyo, you're going to see the word Tokyo, and then you start to have a reinforcement mechanism when you get these basic 1,000 sort of kanjis in Japanese, or in the case of like my daughter, once she can start to see north and east every day, it really brings you up to speed. Okay, so yeah, I think it's a really good method, as again, and I call it the triage method, where you learn to read. You have to learn to read as quickly as you can, because once you learn to read, the visual self, like reinforcement mechanism, will take over. And it happened with me. I saw it, and that's how I learned this method. I didn't study this at all. Like I learned it over time, just like you'd find out with anything exercise. And I've got to. My son was already a very good. He could read already before he came to Canada. He's a very good. He was a good. He's a good student, and he does really effective with books. But my daughter, before she came, was never really sort of effective with books. Okay, but now like the whole world is English for her. So like. And I had to help her a lot. And then the whole idea again is just to get these key images down, and the reinforcement of seeing things every day from the environment is going to help you. Okay, so there you go. There's a video there about the triage uh, uh, triage level of bringing your second language ability up to like a effective speed quickly. Okay, thank you. And then this works particularly when you, in the case of going from Japan to Canada, or in my case it was Canada to Japan. Another video here by the Tokyo Real Estate Man saying, see you later.